Okay, hi everyone. Hi everyone. Thanks for coming in. I see about 15 of you guys actually on Facebook Live. I see Zem, Tony, Eugene, Jackson, and of course there's many more whom I don't know who is watching. Okay, but welcome, very warm welcome to those of you who are first time here to our Buy or Buy series. And yeah, today we're going to talk about this company called Spotify. So to answer Eugene's question, it is not Shopify, it is Spotify. All right. So yeah, the name is pretty close, but unfortunately, it's quite a big difference in terms of what they do. Yep. So thanks, Ming Chen, for clarifying as well. Yep. So we will be starting in about 2 to 3 more minutes at 8:05 sharp. So yeah, do stay tuned to this particular live, and we will be starting in about 2 or 3 more minutes so that more people can actually come on. And of course, if you have been following us and if you like our content, do help us to also share this particular live video so that your friend is also able to benefit from this very simple and easy to understand video, live video about Spotify as well. Hi, Mei-Ling. Okay, good evening. Okay, yeah, good to see all of you. Okay, right now we have like almost 20 of you, and most importantly, okay, just to make sure that you guys are able to hear me. If you can hear me loud and clear, can you just type into the chat group 555 if you can hear me loud and clear. All right, just go to the Facebook comments and type in 555, and so that I know that you guys are able to hear me. Okay, hi Ming Si. Okay, we have 24 of you. So again, for those of you who just came in, a very warm welcome. So okay, we will be starting in about 2 more minutes time. We will be starting in 2 minutes. So do stay tuned to our channel and our live channel. Okay, this is very interesting company. I'm pretty sure a lot of us have heard of it, or some of us are using the services as well. So later on, we will actually discuss whether this is a company that is actually worth investing, or probably it is actually not worth investing at the current moment. Okay, thanks for the response. Wow, so how's everybody doing? Especially today is Saturday evening. I think yeah, it's been a raining day as well. So very comfortable, very cooling weather. So if you are doing well, can you just type in good? Can you just type in good so that I know that you guys are doing well? Okay, and then let's wait for about 1 more minute. Okay, 1 more minute, and then we will actually get started. Okay, 1 more minute. Okay. Okay, nobody's typing good. So so you guys are not doing that good on a Saturday evening. Okay, yeah, I saw the good coming out. All right, and I think we are ready to actually get started. So of course, if you actually came in late, don't worry, this will be actually live on our Facebook channel as well. So you can actually watch it again and again and again. You know, for those of you who actually are not able to join us live for our subsequent buy or buy as well. Okay, so let me just get started right now. So thanks once again. Thanks everyone for joining us tonight for this buy or buy series on Spotify. And so I'm sure that this is a company that quite a number of us are familiar with, okay, because they are in the music streaming, and some of us probably are also paying money, okay, as a premium customer as well. So let me just go in and dive in and see whether this is a company that is it worth investing right now, or is it not worth investing. And of course, before I move on, before I start, okay, very important is to do the disclaimer, and that is this is not a recommendation to buy or sell, and this is purely for educational purpose. So once again, please do your own due diligence, you know, after the presentation. If you like this company, okay, go and check out some of the information, make sure that you know everything is correct. And then if you want to invest, okay, once again, just understand that investment do come with certain risks, and make sure that you're aware of all the risks that comes with any kind of investment. And of course, for today, how I'm going to go through is, as usual, I'm going to use this big profit, whereby I'm going to talk about the background of Spotify, the industry that it is in, what are some of the growth potential. Then we're going to look at some of the competitors, okay, on the peer comparison. Then we're going to look at some of the risk factor as well as what are some of the opportunities that is available. And last but not least, we're going to end off with the financial fitness, okay, looking at the numbers of this particular company, Spotify. So starting with the background of this particular company, okay, this is a relatively new company, I would say. They are actually launched in 2008, so it's about 12 years. And Spotify right now has actually grown to become the most widely used music streaming platform in the world. Okay, they are the most widely used, they are the largest in terms of streaming platform in the whole wide world. And as you can see, they actually control over a third of the industry global market share. That is how big they are. And of course, this company, they actually managed to accumulate over 100 million paying subscribers and millions more free ad-supported users. I'm going to touch on more on this particular thing, but this is really amazing. You know, in 12 years, right, they managed to have 100 million people paying them on a monthly basis. Okay, so why are they actually so popular and what are they doing that is doing so well? Okay, let's take a look at this. So this is the platform that Spotify is in. So basically what Spotify do is they actually stream music. Okay, they are a music streaming platform. So they are actually on your desktop. They can be downloaded on your Android phone. They can also be downloaded on your iPhone as well. You know, so this can be downloaded anywhere. In fact, you know, I'm actually a premium subscriber myself on Spotify as well. So there's actually two key differences. So basically this software is actually available for free. So for those of you who have not downloaded this, you can go and check it out. You can go and go to Spotify website and you can go and download for free. And of course, if you want to pay for it, what is the difference between the free as well as the premium? Basically, you can see over there, very important is this, the second point, which is ad free. Okay, which is ad free. So if you're on a free version, what happened is that before the music played, you know, sometimes there will be a short, about 15 seconds of advertisement. Okay, and then maybe every 3 or 4 track or music, then the advertisement comes out again. So if you find that irritating, okay, you do not want to listen to the 10 to 15 seconds of ad, then you can actually subscribe for the premium. And of course, I think what is important is that in premium, you can actually change music. You can skip, unlimited skip. But on the free version, I think if you actually skip it for 2 or 3 times, then there's a limit. So you can't like, oh, I do not like this music, change. I do not like this music, change. Yeah, so there will be certain requirement or certain guideline for the free. But anyway, I think it is still definitely good for those of you who are not on Spotify. Do check it out. So just a quick fact about this particular company. Right now, they actually have a total of 286 monthly active subscriber or rather user. Okay, so basically 286 million comprises of both the paid one as well as the free user. And out of this 286, how many of them are actually the paying user? That is on the left-hand side, which is 130 million. So can you see just from this particular figure, almost 40% of the users are actually paying customer. So although they do provide for free, but you can see that at 40%, I would say that this is quite an amazing figure, or rather a percentage that they actually achieve. And of course, you can see what in their database, they actually have more than 50 over million tracks. And right now, Spotify is available in 92 different markets as well. So they are actually pretty much, you know, over the whole wide world. So this is how Spotify actually make their money. Okay, I think this is important, is that Spotify actually collect most of their revenue from the membership that they actually charge. So you can see almost 90% came from the premium membership, and the 10% actually comes from ads that they collect. So remember, for the free customer, they do listen to ads. And who is paying for the ads basically is, it can be companies, it can be businesses. So you know, this is the ads component as of now is pretty much a small component of Spotify. So how they can actually grow this revenue, as you can see, is that they have to actually get more members to actually join in and also convert more people from the free to become the premium membership, because that is the main chunk of how the money actually goes into the business, which is the membership. And of course, if you look at the whole industry as a whole, I think this is a very interesting industry because why? In the past, okay, the music industry is dominated by these three companies, which is Sony Music Entertainment, Universal Music, as well as Warner Music. So if let's say you are a musician and you want to publish a CD or you want to publish an album, these are the three largest, I would say, record distributor that you can actually go for. But right now, okay, as you can see that the whole music industry has changed, so they are definitely no longer the largest. And in fact, music streaming has overtaken the whole music industry, and it is actually a growing industry as a whole. So this is how the whole music industry actually evolved. We started with, I think, the very, very big rounded, I don't know what we call it, but yeah, the roundies. And of course, we have the cassette, followed by our CD. Then we have our music, which is Napster. Okay, then after that, when Apple come up with this thing called the iPod, that's where subsequently you have your iTunes. And of course, right now with the internet, with our smartphone, okay, that is where you realize company like Spotify will be able to come in as a streaming platform. So this is how the revolution of music actually occurred. So very interesting, as you can see in this particular chart on the left-hand side, it shows you the streaming music industry. And you can see 2001, Apple releases the first iPod. Okay, so that was kind of the whole revolutionize of the music from CD into digital. So I'm pretty sure that you guys, quite a number of you guys came from the era whereby if you want to listen to music, you have to go and buy the CD, which costs about maybe $20 over. Yeah, then subsequently, then you come out with your iPod where everything, you don't even need a CD. Okay, then you have your thumb drive and things like that. So that is where the digital actually came in. And that only came in 2001, okay, which is about 20 years ago. And of course, subsequently, Apple came out with the iTunes store to sell digital music. So people actually can buy digital music directly on the Apple stores. And Spotify, as you can see, the company actually started in 2008. But actually, when Spotify came into the market, you realize that the pickup rate for streaming is still not that huge. Okay, people are still, in the process of changing from, CD to digital. But what happened is that in 2015, you can see Apple actually debuts their Apple Music. And subsequently, from 2015, you can see that there's a huge, growth on the streaming industry, which is the yellow color portion. So music streaming actually started accelerating from 2015. And right now, this is a $20.2 billion market. So really, really huge market. And of course, if you look at the business model of Spotify, it is pretty interesting because, like I said, they have the premium, which is the paying customer, and they have the free customer. So which one is actually more profitable? Because you see, if you're on the free customer, so that is where you get ads. So, and of course, they get the revenue from ads. So that is one portion, which is the free. But the moment you converted to a paying customer, you cannot see the ads. So it's not like your YouTube or it's not like your Facebook, whereby this is totally free, and whether you like it or not, you have to look at all the advertisement. But this is different. If you are free, you get to see the ads, you get to hear the ads. And if let's say you started paying money, you no longer see the ads. Yeah. So can you imagine if let's say today you are a business owner and you actually want to advertise on Spotify? So basically, who you are targeting is only those people who are on the free Spotify platform. So you are not able to actually target those people who actually paid for the premium service. Yeah, but of course, certain business owner will prefer the people who actually paid for it, because these are the people who probably have a higher, who are able to spend more, who have a better spending habit, right? But unfortunately, based on their current model, if you actually put your ads, you are only targeting those people who are listening to Spotify for free. And of course, if you look at the margin, okay, how much money Spotify is able to earn, so definitely subscription based is the one that gives them more profit as well. Okay, the ad-supported one is definitely lesser. And so something interesting to share with you guys. Okay, so this is something that I extracted, the top 5 streams in a single day. So you can see in one day, right, this particular music rock star actually has 5 million people actually streaming and listening to it. So, okay, how does a musician actually make money by having their music, okay, being listed on Spotify? So you can see over here, you have the payout from the different platform. So you have Amazon Music, Apple Music, YouTube Music, Spotify, Pandora, and of course Tidal. So let's just use Spotify, okay, as the guideline over here. So a total of the top 5, I actually combine them together. Okay, this is in a single day. Okay, if I combine all the stream for the top 5 together, you get about 20 million. And as you can see, the payout is about 0.0038 per play. So every time somebody played once, okay, the creator or the owner of that particular music will get paid 0.0038. So you can see the daily payout just for the top 5 is already at $82,000. Okay, and that is a lot of money. That is a lot of money. Yeah. So this is just one single day, and this is just only for the top 5. So if I actually get the top 100, then definitely the amount is going to be a lot larger as well. And of course, if you calculate on a monthly basis, we are talking about definitely in the millions. So that is actually one of the biggest issue about Spotify. Okay, because they actually have to pay quite a significant amount of whatever money that they actually collected, okay, back to the creator of that particular music, right? So next, we want to look at the peer comparison as well in terms of this particular industry of the music streaming industry. So you have the world most popular music streaming services with number 1 spot is definitely Spotify. Okay, as you can see, they have over 100 million subscriber. And the second one, just purely based on US itself, is Pandora. Okay, so Pandora is actually more or like a radio streaming platform. Okay, but they focus mainly on the US market only. Okay, but just the US market, as you can see, they are really, really huge. Okay, with 63 million subscriber. And of course, Apple came in on the number 3, okay, with 60 million, and of course with Amazon and Tencent just slightly behind. So YouTube is also something that is catching up. Okay, YouTube Music, and of course we have Google Play Music as well. So you can see in this particular area, a lot of all the big tech company, they are also inside this particular industry. So competition is definitely strong. Okay, but luckily, at least for now, I would say that Spotify, they have a certain edge lah. Okay, and in terms of the numbers, in terms of the subscriber, they are actually still in the number 1 spot. But overall, I think most importantly, we can see is that previously, the music industry is dominated by who? It's dominated by Sony Music, Universal Music. But what happened right now is that you realize that tech company, they can simply just come in, and right now they also dominate the music industry. I think that is also why if we look at the whole stock market right now, the tech company are just, rocketing like crazy. I think this is the key reason, because when you're a tech company, right, you can easily just disrupt, a lot of different industry. You can simply disrupt, like for example, in this case, they simply disrupted the whole music industry. So the previous giant in this particular area just got kicked out and removed within a couple of years. But of course, if we want to compare, for example, Pandora as well as Apple, okay, and of course, if we compare it to Spotify, so on the left-hand side, we have the comparison between Pandora and Spotify. Definitely, we can see that Pandora growth is actually slowing down. And this was actually based on the latest figures based on 2017. The numbers are already slowing down. But Spotify, okay, is actually growing still at a very amazing rate. Later, we'll actually show about the growth rate of Spotify. But definitely, we can see if we just compare these two, Spotify is definitely leading the race. And on the right-hand side, Spotify versus Apple, same thing in terms of the growth rate. I would say that Spotify is still dominating. Partly, I would say it's because Apple Music, right, is only available for people who are using Apple. right? So you actually lose out for people who are actually using Android, and of course people who are using your desktop to actually, or rather laptop, to actually listen. So Spotify, the capture market is definitely a lot larger. And of course, in terms of the musician, I think most importantly, the platform itself, I think both platform has a huge database. So I think in terms of the quality, I think it is pretty much on par. It's definitely on par. So overall, I would say that Spotify definitely still has its own advantage, or rather key advantage. And that is why they are in a way still leading this music industry, music streaming industry. Next up, we want to look at the growth of this particular industry or this company. So I'm going to use a few key metrics to evaluate Spotify growth, starting with the first one, which is the monthly average user. So like I said, how Spotify make money is mainly through premium customers. Okay, so they make their money by having more customers. So what we want to track basically for this company moving ahead or moving forward is, are they able to actually increase more user? Okay, or rather, whether be it the free user or the premium user. But overall, okay, number of users, we want it to be increasing. Next, we want to look at the premium subscriber. So for example, if you can bring in another 100 million of users, but none of them is converting into the paid customer. So you realize that, they can still make money, because under the free one, they can collect ads revenue, but that is actually a very, very small portion, and the margin is not high. So they still need the premium subscriber, people to actually convert from free to the paid subscriber. And of course, what we want to look at is also the content hours, especially when you are in this particular area. I think what they want is they want to dominate as much hours as possible. So I think this is not just purely in terms of music. They are also fighting with other companies like YouTube. They are fighting with people like Facebook, and of course like TikTok and all that. So this is a very, very competitive industry, okay, and of course to fight with in terms of the content hours. How many hours are we using, in a 24 hours? How many hours are we actually putting onto this particular company? So starting with the first one, okay, we can see that in terms of the number of Spotify monthly active users, it is definitely healthy. You can see it is growing year after year, or rather this is quarter after quarter. Every quarter is a very nice growth. And if you look at just the latest 2019 versus 2020 first quarter, the company has a 31% year-on-year growth. And I think that is really, really good. Especially, I think, despite the COVID-19, the company actually released that the result is actually way better than what they expected. Okay, I would say that partly is also because everybody is at home, and music becomes part of our life, so more people actually subscribe to Spotify. More people are converting to premium, so that does contribute as well. And of course, number two, the number of Spotify premium subscriber worldwide. Okay, again, same thing. You can see that the growth percentage is pretty aligned with the overall user growth. Okay, it's also at a 31% year-over-year growth. So both are something that I would say that is Spotify has been doing really, really well, and the growth rate is still very, very healthy at the same time. And of course, the point number three, in terms of the hours, okay, if you look at the underlying portion, okay, the Spotify platform active users, okay, the average time spent listening to Spotify is 25 hours per month. Okay, so can you imagine, average people who actually subscribe to Spotify, you spend about 25 hours every single month, okay, on Spotify. So I think what this company, they want to do is they also want to make sure that, for us, we are spending more and more hours, okay, on Spotify. So how can they actually do that? So that is where they need to actually come up with more ideas. On top of music, they need to come up with different ways to engage us. I think the numbers for TikTok is definitely way higher in terms of the number of hours per month. Okay, I think I've heard a lot of my friends who actually spend easily about 1 or 2 hours every single day just simply on TikTok. And I think in terms of Facebook, YouTube as well, the number of hours is definitely much higher. So this is something that Spotify, I would say that they still have the room to grow, okay, to actually capture more of our attention to be on their platform. Okay, next up, we want to look at the risk as well for this particular company. Okay, and of course, with COVID-19, we all know that this has impacted many different businesses. But when it comes to Spotify, how has COVID-19 affected them? Okay, the main impact I would say is actually on the ads revenue. Okay, because business actually are cutting down the advertising on spending, and as a result, less company want to put their money into Spotify lah, to advertise on ads. Okay, but having said that, I would say that according to the CEO Daniel, actually said that ads revenue is only 10% of overall revenue. So even with COVID and even with this particular decline, the impact is actually not that great. Okay, and of course we want to compare it with many other businesses out there in the market lah. I think the impact on COVID-19 for many other business is way higher. I think very recently we also just shared, like for example, for Las Vegas Sands, you know, the revenue dropped by 96%. Okay, revenue dropped by 96%. So for Spotify, I would say that it is still pretty healthy despite the COVID-19. And I think because of that, the number of subscribers continue to grow at a very good rate. So overall, I would say that COVID-19 to a certain extent, actually it is positively helping this particular company. Right, and of course, the last point is that there seems to be still a lot of demand for podcast advertising. So podcast is actually something that Spotify is putting a lot more emphasis on, okay, rather than music, because I think music, they pretty much has already dominate, okay, and the margin for music is a lot lower. Later, we will probably share a little bit more on this particular area. Okay, so before I move on, just to make sure that you guys are actually still here, okay, can you do me a favor by hitting the like button, okay, the thumbs up button on your Facebook, okay, just to make sure that you guys are here. I just want to make sure that I see a lot of, you know, thumbs up button before I continue. Okay, right now we have 50 of you actually watching. Okay, fantastic. Okay, fantastic. I see all the fingers, all the thumb coming up. Okay, that's good. And let me just continue. So now I want to touch on the more exciting portion, okay, which is the opportunity about this particular company. Where are the opportunities? So I think I did mention, okay, I did link a little bit, is actually this particular area called podcast. Okay, podcast. Maybe for Singaporean, I'm not too sure. I'm not sure if you guys actually listen to podcasts. So maybe y'all can let me know, okay, how many of you actually listen to podcasts? If you listen to podcasts, can you just put in 999 if you listen to podcasts? And if you don't listen to podcasts, can you just put in 111? Okay, so do me a favor, let me know if you listen to podcasts, put in 999. If you don't listen to podcasts, just type in 111. Okay, so we will see the response later on, you know, from your response. Okay, but what I want to share is that for Spotify, they did mention that, okay, podcasting is actually a key driver for future growth. Okay, so what happened is that this company right now, they are actually investing a lot in this particular area. And as you can see, in terms of the total users engaged with podcasts, the numbers actually grow by a 3-digit rate. Okay, that means more than 100%, more than 100%. So definitely very exciting. And I think this is actually released only very recently, July 25th. Okay, Barack Obama is going to be featured as a guest, okay, on the wife Michelle Spotify podcast. So basically the wife is actually running the podcast, and Barack Obama is going to be featured as a guest. So they actually invite all this, you know, so-called political character or famous people to be actually featured on the podcast. And on top of it, this is also very recently, Spotify is going to sign TikTok star Addison Rae to podcast deal. So actually for me, I don't know who is this person, Addison Rae, but I did some searching and I realized that he's only, this person is only 19 years old, if I never remember wrongly, 19 years old, and he has, I don't know, is he or she, I forget, but he or she have 54 million followers on TikTok. Okay, 54 million followers on TikTok. You know, so that's a crazy number. So what happened is that, yeah, Spotify just basically want this person to, you know, do a talk show on Spotify. And basically, you know that, you know, for the follower who have been following Edison, what they will do is they will also jump onto the Spotify and they also want to listen onto the talk show as well. And on top of it, we can see over here is that they actually have signed deal with other podcasting giant like Joe Rogan, Superman and Wonder Woman parent DC Comics, and reality TV star Kim Kardashian, right? And of course, they also have certain acquisition, okay, with the production house. So overall, you can see that they actually bet, more than $1 billion in this particular area. So that is where we can see that they are really focused a lot on podcasts. And of course, I think this one is something that is really new. Spotify now supports video podcast. So on top of just listening, okay, to the podcast, what happened is that now for some of the more established one, they also do videos. So this is also something that I would say will eat up certain hours of YouTube. Okay, so YouTube used to be not so much of a competitor, but what if Spotify were to jump onto the video podcast? Okay, so definitely they are going to eat up some of the market share of YouTube as well. So I do see that this is something good that they are actually coming up with. Okay, how good they are, we can't really tell for now. Okay, but at least we can see that this is a huge market. This is a huge market that they are actually jumping into. So something that I actually look forward to. Okay, yeah. So I think before I even move to the financial fitness, I just want to also touch on, okay, is that the music industry, right? Okay, I just give you a quick overall view. Is that, for example, today, if let's say you are a musician, let's say you created a music and you want to put it onto Spotify. So what happened is that you can't actually just go to Spotify and then upload your music. And it's not like YouTube whereby you can just upload and then people will actually start watching. Okay, it's not so easy. So if you have a proper music, okay, and you want to put it on Spotify, you actually have to work with a distributor, or you have to work with the record house so that they actually can help you to put your music, okay, as the proper way. And of course, they will actually do the licensing and all that, and then they'll put it on Spotify. So that if, let's say, people actually go and listen to you on Spotify, then you will actually get paid the 0.003 per stream. All right. So you see that it's not that easy. It's not like YouTube whereby I can sing, I can just put my music over there. It's not that easy. But what happened is that for podcast, it is different. Okay, podcast is different. So for example, right now, I am talking about this company called Spotify on this particular thing called Buy or Buy series. So everything that we do is actually uploaded on YouTube. So what happened is that I can also put everything, the whole audio version of this particular sharing, I can also put it on a podcast, okay, on Spotify as well. Okay, so you see the difference between the music portion as well as the podcast portion. Music, you have to go through a certain way. You have to be like a professional. It's a lot harder to actually put your items on Spotify. But for the podcast, anybody can. You can actually just upload it on. You can create your own podcast and you can just upload onto Spotify as well. And of course, if people actually were to stream or rather listen to your podcast, then you get paid 0.003. Okay, so what is the key difference? Okay, the key difference is actually the licensing. Okay, key difference is licensing. So what happened is that a lot of money actually goes to the licensing, goes to the record company that is doing all that. So that is why, for the margin of Spotify, you realize that for the music portion, they don't actually earn that much. However, if let's say more and more people jump into this particular platform and create their own podcast, okay, the thing is, it's going to be a lot more profitable for Spotify because they don't have to pay licensing. Okay, they don't have to pay you the licensing to ask you to put your podcast over there. And of course, if people were to watch, then of course they will pay you a certain fee. So, but that fee is going to be a lot lesser as compared to music. Okay, the fee is going to be a lot lesser than music. So I think that is something that they are doing well to actually go into the podcast area. And I do see that, let me see from your response as well. Let me see from your response as well. Okay, as you can see, I see about 10 over answer. Only 3 of you actually are watching podcasts. Okay, which means that 70% of you are actually not on podcast yet. So I would say that there is actually definitely some growth. And I think for Singaporean, we are not that used to podcast, but I think in US, this is something that is pretty common. You know, when people are driving, they will just listen to podcasts. And then when you're on the public transport, you will listen to podcasts or you listen to music. Right, so we come to the last portion of this particular buy or buy series where we talk about the financial fitness. Okay, I think this is where we are going to look at these 7 criteria. Okay, growing revenue, positive earnings per share, free cash flow, return on equity, net margin, interest coverage, and last but not least, the valuation. Okay, the valuation of this particular company. So this is a company that just got listed in 2015. So we have about 4 to 5 years of records. We can see that in terms of revenue, definitely it is increasing. Okay, definitely is increasing. The number of users has also increased, you know, year after year. The second point we want to look at is earnings per share. And that is something that I want to point to you guys, is that some people might find that, oh, this is a great company. I'm using their services. I believe that, you know, in the next 5 years, they will do well. But the problem over here is that as of now, although they have 100 over million premium subscriber, they are earning over 7 billion in revenue. But right now, they are not making money. Okay, they are not making money. You can see the earnings per share, it is negative. They are still losing money as of now. So definitely this is going to be a cross. And I think any company that you're looking at, okay, I think this is something that I really want to emphasize on, especially if you are new to investing. Okay, always make sure that the bare minimum is invest in a company that is profitable. Okay, invest in a company that is profitable. Some people will say that, yeah, but I believe that this company, you know, moving forward will become profitable, and etc., you know, but the share price is going higher and higher. But end of the day, you know, think of it like as a business itself, right? If they are not able to be profitable, it is not sustainable. Okay, look at companies like Uber, look at companies like Grab. You know, they are very good. They have huge revenue, but the problem is, as long as you can't monetize it the right way, you can't make money as a business, you know, the sustainability is always going to be an issue. Okay, the sustainability is going to be an issue. So always make sure you invest in a company that is making money. And of course, free cash flow. Okay, this company is able to generate a positive free cash flow, and that is really, really amazing. Right, so that is a pass. And point number 4, because this company is not making money right now, so naturally, in terms of the return that you're going to get as an investor, it is going to be negative. So you see that is going to be the not so good point. And of course, net margin, same thing. The company is not making money, so we don't even want to talk about the net margin, because yeah, it's going to be negative as well. So it's definitely not going to be more than 10%. So this is going to be a fail as well. Interest coverage, all right. So it's not too bad. Okay, not too bad. Okay, right now it's at 2.76, but nonetheless, okay, yeah, it is still a fail as well. Okay, it is still a fail as well. So you can see, based on these 3, it is not so good for Spotify. And of course, when we look at valuation, okay, again, most of the valuation that we want to look at is on the conservative side. So bare minimum is the company must be making profit. So again, if a company is not making profit, you know, the PE ratio is going to be negative, and that is why the PG is definitely going to be a fail as well. You know, so that is why, like I said, you know, the bare minimum when you want to analyze a company is to at least look for a company that is profitable, because if a company is not profitable, there's a lot of things that is very hard to evaluate. Okay, unless you are really, really familiar with the business, you are really familiar with the industry, you have some insider information, then of course, okay, maybe you can invest in it. But for most of us, okay, based on what we can find on the internet, based on what we can find from the annual report, okay, look for a company that is profitable. That is, I think, very, very important. So this is the report card for Spotify. Pass, fail, pass, fail, 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 fail. Right, so I'm going to end off with a summary of the 3 good points about this company and the 3 not so good points. So starting with point number 1 is that Spotify listener growth may help it negotiate much better terms with record labels over time. So what it meant is that right now Spotify has the largest user or subscriber base. So with that network that they have, they might be able to, you know, work out a cheaper rate to pay the record label, okay, which is the company. Hopefully they can negotiate a better price. And of course, by investing in more services and tools for artists, Spotify may attract artists away from record labels and towards independent distribution, which may allow the company to pay lower royalties over time. So you can see this is pretty much similar to another company that we are familiar with, which is Netflix. So when Netflix first started, okay, what it did is basically it is a platform for video or movie streaming. So, you know, at the start, it is not, they don't come up with their own movies. So what they do is they actually buy from other people. They actually pay, you know, royalties fee to all the different filmmakers, or rather movie companies, you know. But over time, you realize right now what Netflix is doing is that they actually come up with their own production, because they realize that over the long run, when I come up with my own production, it is cheaper. Okay, whatever I earn, I can just keep more of it for myself. I don't have to pay so much to the other company. So it's the same thing for Spotify. So what happened is that in the past, you know, for all the musicians, they have to pay a lot to the record label companies. And so what they want to do right now is they want to have more independent distribution. That means maybe I'm a musician, I can come up with an independent company and then put my music over there. So of course, what happens is that if you are an independent distributor, the fee is going to be lower, the royalties is going to be lower. And of course, the third point is revenue growth during the next 10 years should accelerate, okay, as Spotify keep investing in different content such as podcast and video, you know, attracting more users as well as advertiser. So this is a company whereby I still see that they are still constantly growing and innovating and actually changing their business model, okay. So right now they are on the verge of turning profitable. They are on the verge of turning profitable. So although today you can see that most of the figures are not that fantastic, but maybe in another, I don't know, 1 or 2 years time, this company might turn profitable and the whole business model might change as well. So I would say that, okay, this is definitely a company that we want to look at, because like I said, they are right now the largest, okay, music streaming company. They actually have done something right to dominate this particular area. And of course, we want to look at the 3 not so good point about this particular company. So Apple, Google, and Amazon, which is the competitor of Spotify, okay, what happened is that they can easily allocate more capital towards their music streaming offering and potentially take users from Spotify. So basically, Spotify only offer music and podcasts. But for Apple, Google, and Amazon, because they are a much larger company, they have more product offering. So what happened is that they can definitely, if they want to have a price war with Spotify, they can do it, because number one, they have the money to actually fight, you know, right on with Spotify. You know, so if you want to compare price, you know, you can't actually fight with all these giant like Apple, Google, and Amazon. You know, so in terms of the product offering, they can actually package. For example, if you are Apple, if you're using iPhone, then they actually give you the subscription for Apple Music. So naturally, you would actually go to Apple Music instead of Spotify. You know, something like that. And of course, content acquisition cost makes Spotify overall cost of revenue variable, okay, which will prevent significant gross margin expansion. So yeah, the acquisition cost is expensive, again, like I said, because of the labor, the record labor. So that is also something that as of now, they are actually trying to move away from that particular area. So I do see that the podcast is really like a game changer for Spotify if they are able to do well in this particular area. Yes, YouTube Premium user can also use YouTube Music, exactly. And of course, for point number 3, is that Spotify will always remain at the mercy of record labels, which can potentially raise royalties owed by Spotify at any point of time. So for example, if let's say, okay, we talk about a Chinese singer, okay, JJ. Okay, so let's say JJ Lin has a lot of follower, and let's say Jay Chou has a lot of follower. So they can actually bargain with Spotify and say, hey, if you want me to put my music, you need to pay me instead of 0.003, I want 0.005. Okay, and if you don't give me that kind of rate, what happens is that I'll put my music on Apple, or I'll put my music on Amazon, or I put my music elsewhere instead of putting it on Spotify. So you can see that, you know, they are always at the mercy of all these record label companies. So sometimes it's not the musician, but rather it's the company that controls the musician, right? So that is something that, you know, there's something that they have to move away from, okay? If not, they are always at the mercy of all these record label company. So overall, okay, before I release, okay, I just want to hear from you guys. What do you think about this company? Whether this is going to be a BUY buy, or this is going to be a BYE buy for this particular company. Okay, and later I'm going to share my view. Okay, but right now I'm also going to take on some question. Okay, before I actually end off this particular session. So if you have any questions, do put it into the chat group as well, so that I'll be able to answer them. Yep, Jackson mentioned sayonara, so I believe it is a BYE bye-bye for this particular company. And yeah, let me see. Could Spotify be a takeover target by Apple or Google or Amazon? I don't think so. I don't think they will take over because obviously, for one reason, right now Spotify is not that cheap anymore. Okay, Spotify valuation is actually pretty high. Yeah, and Spotify is actually a Europe company. It is a European company. So yeah, that could be something. Yeah, but anyway, for Apple, Amazon, and as well as Google, they have their portion, and it's actually growing as well. So there's no point for them to actually take over and pay so much for it. For Chu mentioned that BYE bye bye, but keep in view. Yeah, I think that is something that I think it is good. Okay. And of course, Mailing also mentioned watch list, something this is a company that is worth watching out for, and see how they actually transform. And of course, Tony mentioned bye too many competitor. Very, very good point. Okay. Okay, what's the comment on Tencent Music? Understand that Spotify partially owns Tencent Music. This I'm not too sure on how many percent they own Tencent Music, but from what I know is that it's a separate entity lah. So Tencent Music is like a competitor of Spotify. Okay, Esmond also say bye bye. Jackson say I felt that Google and Apple will be their biggest competitor. Yeah, definitely definitely they have much to offer. Google has YouTube, has many offering as well. Then of course Apple has the ecosystem of the whole Apple and hardcore Apple fans. You know, Lily also mentioned bye bye. Okay, so I think it is pretty clear. Okay, for me, this is going to be my answer. So for now, I would say that this is going to be a bye bye. But at least I will say that this is a company that I will continue to monitor. I will actually watch out for their potential growth. Okay, and I do see that. Okay, for this part company, you can see that they are actually focusing a lot on podcasts. So I would say that podcast is actually an area that is growing. Okay, so for any content creator out there, I think podcast is also something that we should also explore jumping into. So we do know a lot of people who wants to be influencer, who wants to make money from YouTube and of course TikTok, you know, but I do see that actually podcast could be also one potential platform in the future that can be monetized as well. All right, and hopefully, you know, with the rise of podcasts, it would actually bring the rise of Spotify as the market leader for podcasts as well. Yes, so for Jackson, got more resources to develop better apps, cheaper royalties. Yeah, so definitely, I would say that Spotify do not have the bargaining power with the record labels, okay, as compared to the other big giants, tech giants out there, right? So, okay, that's all from me. I would say that, yeah, this is an interesting company, but unfortunately, okay, not a buy for now. You know, so for more resources on our buy or buy series, do join our free stock Telegram where we share with you exciting stock ideas as well. And of course, you get to receive our bonus SG shopping list, okay, by joining our Telegram as well. So again, I also want to say that Telegram, to me, I feel that Telegram is also something that is on the rise. Okay, I'm not sure about about you guys, but I do see more and more people jumping onto Telegram as well. So if you have not downloaded Telegram, please do go and download it. If you have not downloaded Spotify, please also go and download it. Both are free. Both have very, very useful, important information. And I think on the tech, in the current technology era, okay, we should also stay in the trend, okay, of what is actually happening. So with that, okay, I thanks everyone for joining me tonight and on a Saturday. Okay, I really appreciate you guys. I think we have 52 of you actually watching. Okay, so do watch out for our other buy or buy series as well. Okay, and before I go off, very, very important, very, very important. If let's say you all want the PowerPoint, the PDF of today's sharing, if you want the PDF copy of my presentation for today's sharing, all you need to do is just type in the comments below claim, C-L-A-I-M, okay, C-L-A-I-M, and then we will actually send you the PDF copy for today's presentation, right? So once again, thanks everyone for joining me tonight, and I'll see you guys in my upcoming buy or buy series. And of course, tomorrow we have our crisis income formula webinar. For those of you who have not attended our crisis income formula webinar, do join us tomorrow, Sunday at 2 p.m. Okay, it is going to be a 2 hours webinar. And then I hope to see you guys tomorrow as well, for those of you who have not joined us. Okay, if not, I'm going to sign off for now and see you guys. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And most importantly, stay safe and invest safely. All right, so bye-bye.